Welcome to the deep dive. So you sent us exploring a really intriguing connection this week.
Yeah, the one between Mayday or Beltane and the color purple. Kind of unexpected.
Right. We looked at sources on purple dye history, some mystical stuff too. The mission is, well, figuring out how these actually link up.
It's quite something when you start with purple itself. Tyrian purple, for instance, from Tyre, ancient Lebanon. Think about this. 10,000 sea snails just to get like 1.4 grams of dye.
Wow, 10,000.
Yeah. So incredibly rare, incredibly valuable. It became the color of emperor's imperial purple.
Makes sense. Pure status. Okay, so then we shift gears to Mayday, Beltane, Gaelic roots, height of spring.
Celebrating fertility, fire, renewal, all that vibrant spring energy.
Exactly. You picture greens, maybe oranges, definitely flowers. So purple, it doesn't immediately jump out, does it?
It really doesn't, but that's where the symbolism gets interesting. Purple often represents things like spirituality, imagination, even balance. Think of those as sort of the deeper vibes of Mayday, beyond just the obvious spring colors.
And Beltane itself sits in this liminal space, right? Halfway point between the spring equinox and the summer solstice.
Exactly, that in-between state. And purple, visually, it sits between red and blue, fire and ice, almost. It kind of embodies that transitional feeling.
Interesting, like the old Beltane tradition of putting out all the fires.
Yeah, and then relighting them from one big communal bonfire, a powerful symbol of renewal, purification.
So how does purple tie into that?
Well, you could see purple as mirroring that internally. It's often linked to introspection, sort of an emotional reset, getting ready for new growth, transformation, basically.
Then there's the maypole.
Yeah.
Obvious fertility symbol, right?
Yeah.
Agricultural and, well, human.
Right, but let's broaden fertility. It's not just babies and crops. It's creativity, new ideas blooming, our emotional lives, spiritual understanding.
Oh, okay.
And purple connects there to inspiration, exploring possibilities, the kind of inner space Beltane rituals aim to open up.
It's also striking how Beltane mixes the sacred and the, well, sensual. Dancing, kissing, jumping fires.
Yeah, very earthy, embodied experiences, but they were seen as spiritual acts, honoring life itself.
So the maypole, the bonfire, they're like conduits between the physical and maybe the divine.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
And the bonfire, you could even link that to the idea of the violet flame in some esoteric traditions. Inner alchemy, purification.
Violet flame. Purple again.
Exactly. Deep violet as a threshold color. Between red and blue, body and sky. Embodying a fully lived, integrated life.
This is making me think about Aleister Crowley. His whole philosophy, Thelema, really emphasizes that union of sacred and sensual. The body is a temple kind of thing.
Absolutely. And for Crowley, purple, especially deep violet, becomes this incredibly potent symbol. Transformation, yes, but also the merging of polarities, achieving a kind of divine union within yourself.
He uses it so powerfully in that line from Liber Ale Vel Legis, pale or purple, veiled or voluptuous.
Yes. And that purple there could mean several things at once. Maybe physical arousal, the engorged phallus as an active creative principle, but also the spiritual energy behind it.
The serpent flame he talks about.
Kind of like an awakened kundalini energy, yeah, mirroring those Beltane fires igniting spirit through the flesh.
In that other line, I who am all pleasure and purple and drunkenness of the innermost sense.
Here, purple could also evoke the yoni, the vulva, as a sacred gateway, and the drunkenness of the innermost sense. That's about ecstatic states achieved through these embodied, almost sensual, spiritual practices.
He even called deep violet episcopal, didn't he, like bishop's robes?
He did, suggesting a blend of wisdom, maybe sky blue, and understanding, like deep red. Spiritual force made manifest physically, which loops back beautifully to Beltane, right? Transcendence through embodiment.
And in his hymn to Pan, dip the purple of passionate prayer in the crimson shrine.
Right. Purple as intense devotion, passionate prayer itself, fusing the sacred and the erotic. The crimson shrine often interpreted as the womb or yoni. And Pan, of course, is all about that primal life force celebrated at Beltane.
So it all seems to point towards, like, the sanctity of desire, the maypole, the fires. They're charged with this meaning.
Totally. Crowley's purple is almost a code, you know? A code for that vibration of ecstasy, of holy pleasure. It's the body in bliss, the spirit taking flight all at once.
Okay, so Beltane is fundamentally about alignment, Body to body, body to spirit, spirit to the universe.
And purple, even if it isn't splashed everywhere visually at May Day fairs, symbolically it is that meeting point, where mysticism and flesh aren't separate, where pleasure can actually be a form of prayer.
It brings me back to your own reflections you shared. Purple inspiring imagination, comprehension, but also feeling grounded. That really mirrors the goals of May Day, doesn't it?
It really does. Both the festival and the color seem to invite us to wake up to beauty, to passion, to the potential for transformation.
That inner fire, maybe we can call it the purple flame, carries meaning far beyond the literal maypole or bonfire.
So maybe a final thought for you listening. How could seeing this symbolic thread between ancient Beltane rites and this powerful color purple offer a new lens on the connection between the physical and the spiritual in your own life?